Alright, thanks for coming, Danny. I really appreciate it, and thanks to the lasgun that I will probably never use in my life. Jesus Christ, I hate that insufferable machine worshipper. Trazyn, before you go, let's talk a little bit about you.
Oh? Is this about the Codex release? I've actually been a bit curious about your opinion on it.
Yeah, actually, the Necrons Codex came out with the Adeptus Mechanicus Codex, and we got one shit codex and one golden codex. But like every codex, it has positives and negatives. I think probably the best part of this book is not actually any of the rules, but a few of the drawings in the book's lore sections. There's a couple of images where a Necron is holding a humanoid alien, and has some statues of the same alien, well, we assume. We can assume these aliens in these drawings are the Necron tier, the predecessors to the robotic Necrons. This little bit of information gives us a lot more to the Necrons and even shows some of the Necrons might be repentant for their mistake of the Soul Forge. We know a lot are, two of which are the main characters in the book, the Infinite and the Divine. This book tells us a lot about the Necron tier before they're falling to the deception of the Catan, the banana man known as the Deceiver having tricked the Necron tier to give their souls away to the physics gods. There's a lot of information in this book, and I absolutely love it. But before this book, all of our previous artworks were fan theories about how the Necron tier looked. But this actually gives us some grounds as to what the aliens actually look like. Now, let's talk about the detachments in the Codex. Now, as of writing this script, the Necrons are considered a top-tier army, mostly because even their bad detachments are still winning the Las Vegas Open competition. Their army rule is pretty fantastic. Reanimation protocol can be used to repair Necrons and bring back Necron models that were down. Used in combination with the Canoptic Reanimator or the Technomancer, some squads can essentially be immortal unless the entire squadron is taken out with a single phase. A few detachments have enhancements that enhance this rather more. A D3 doesn't seem like much, but combine it with a Reanimator bringing back another D3, the Technomancer doing another D3, and possible enhancements possibly increasing this by 1 to a D3 more. This can be insane, especially when brought in with warriors with a warlord attached to them. It can make some secondary objectives absolutely impossible. The fact that a Technomancer can attach to a squad with a Royal Warden or Noble keyword attached can cause a bit of immortal havoc with the Immortals. Now let's get into detachments. I've talked enough about their army rule. Going into alphabetical order, we'll start with the Annihilation Legion. This is designed with the Destroyer Cult keyword units, including Locust Destroyers, Heavy Destroyers, Scorpec Destroyers, and whatever other Destroyer Cult units, and Blade ones too, forgot about them. Their detachment rule gives a bonus to charging, and allows rerolls of charging too. Given a lot of Destroyer Cult units work primarily in melee, this is great. Those Locusts, though, tend to be better with guns, but there's an enhancement for them too. 3 boost melee, and 1 gives a bonus to all attacks, boosting the armor penetration if criticals roll. Next is the Awakened Dynasty, which is the Index detachment. This one is still based around being a murder ball, but I made a mistake when talking about it last time. Epic hero keywords cannot be given enhancements, so the Silent King can't be given the enhancement, which gives him an aura of leadership, unfortunately. This would be hilarious if you could. Now, most Necron leader characters can attach to warriors and immortals. Not much else. You actually need to hunt leaders that can attach to more, but they do exist. Scorpec Lord, for example, being one. And the Crypto Thralls can attach to leaders that are attached to units as well, given some extra bonus on top. This is still a great detachment if you want to make a murder ball. Canoptic Court is the next one, and this is considered the top tier detachment in the Codex. It's built around Cryptex and Canoptic units. Any character with the Mancer in its name is usually a Cryptech, along with Orican the Diviner. Canoptic units have, well, that in their names. Now, they have a similar thing with the Daemon's Index, where they capture points to enhance their power and extend their power fields. It allows you to reroll Cryptech and Canoptic's hit rolls. The enhancements do a wide variety of stuff. Give a unit the Infiltrator's ability, reroll wound rolls like your old Space Marines, gain command points, or deal mortal wounds. It's pretty fantastic. Stratagems do similar, putting boosts into certain units for single rounds. Half of them have to be used during your opponent's turn, which I find pretty hilarious. This detachment is always laying traps. Hypercrypt Legion is the meme army winner for the Las Vegas game. Essentially, it lets you teleport in and out of battle, boosting your reinforcements numbers. This detachment applies to everything, though it does use a Catan shard as its cover art, so let's assume that's the primary focus. Given one Catan shard, the Deceiver, literally lets you redeploy and has a habit of avoiding being hit, it makes sense. The enhancements are entirely based around getting around the battlefield and boosting their advancements, to giving deep strike to avoiding costing strategic reserve points, though one allows hit rerolls. The stratagems are strange, as some are actually used on characters in strategic reserves, including allowing reanimation protocol. This is probably the only detachment I've seen that makes fortifications possibly worth taking, because one of the stratagems allows extra use of the monolith. The detachment is considered the worst, but the thing is, it's still not that bad, which is sort of hilarious. The last we've got in the list is Phalanx, I can't pronounce that word, which seems to be focused around noble units, like the Trazyn the Infinite. This gives 1 bonus wound rolls done by Overlords, Lich Guards, or Triarch units, which I think is about 5 total units I'm pulling out of my head here. Their enhancements can only be placed on Overlord models, but it does a lot. 1 takes away command points away from your opponent, 1 gives precision and anti-infantry, 1 makes it harder to hit the units, and the last one makes it easier for the Overlord in question to hit. All of the stratagems are limited to combat specifically, most revolving around the fight phase, but these things essentially look at the battlefield and say, hey, you see that guy over there? Well, I don't want to. This detachment is essentially the World Eater itself, but with a less random outcome of abilities and the army rules. So this does the World Eater's thing, but better. Now, I know this codex is getting nerfed hard during the next data slate update, and I'll be honest, I understand it. Right now, this is a top tier army, and Trazyn, your unit isn't nearly as useless as I thought it was.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
Don't get me wrong, it's still pretty bad, but it gives the attached unit sticky objectives and allows you to run around a battlefield without getting headshot. So, it's got some limited uses, but you need to go home, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get kidnapped in a week or two, so shove off.